Morning, guys. CPI Eve. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday morning. A little stuffed up this morning, so you guys have to bear with me a little bit. But again, hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday morning. Hopefully, you guys had a great Tuesday night. Hopefully, you tuned into the Technical Tuesday stream. I really enjoyed going over the coin trade, kind of recapping my approach for this year, this month, and kind of going over things last night. Had a really good time on the stream. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, you can go back, check out the link there. It's some good stuff. I think you'll gain a lot from it. Did even a little bit of a live level 2 breakdown at the end. So definitely exciting. We have CPI Eve on our hands, guys. We've talked about this a little bit, but let's cover it again because, why not? CPI Eve is becoming less and less of a thing, right? We know inflation is coming down, right? We have seen 2 consecutive cooler than really expected prints, and we're continuing to see that trend of, okay, well, we know that when inflation cools, it cools quickly, right? So these CPI reports are going to become less and less eventful, right? And they're also kind of flipped a switch. The last 2 CPI prints, we've had really bullish reactions, right? And therefore, we kind of now have this front running, right? Whereas before, we'd have this kind of pre-sell off. Now we're kind of get a little bit of front running, right? So it should be interesting today. I think a cooler than expected print is the general consensus. Again, I think that unless we get a hot print, this will be a, less big of a deal. These, unemployment numbers are becoming a bigger deal than some of these CPI numbers, right? Because employment is what the Fed is now focused on, right? And what the Fed is now focused on is what is most important, right? So, all right, so let's talk about what my watch list is going to be. That being said, you guys kind of know the drill on days like today, right? Oftentimes, I try to steer away from the mega caps, from SPX, from SPY, until, unless I take something later in the day, right? Early in the day, first, 90 minutes, first hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm going to probably look for that trade that can work even if SPY is choppy. Saw a really choppy open yesterday on the S&P. We're up, 0.4% right now in pre-market. Right, we're coming in, we're above that 390 resistance, but now we're kind of coming into that 394 resistance, right? If we look at the hourly, guys, this is going to be a big spot, right? Coming into that 394 level, which is where we topped out on the S&P, right? So, coming into, on the hourly here, it definitely looks to me like we're going to test 393.7 at this point. I really don't see a ton of resistance, right? Maybe 392.20 provides something because that was that kind of first area that we had some trouble at. But again, you just have to keep that in mind that we're coming into the top of the range on the S&P 500. So on longs, especially on names like NVIDIA, Tesla, etc., need to be more cautious, right? However, we have some themes that are working outside of those names. So we're going to talk about my top 3 watches for today. Tesla is going to be number 1 still. We are seeing a bounce pre-market, kind of as I expected. We retested that 115 level yesterday on Tesla, which is an area that I was looking for to get retested, and then we bounced, and look at where we are in pre-market, guys. We're right back at that 122 level, and we're pushing, right? We're up almost 3% in pre-market. This is a strictly wait for the trigger and take the trade type of deal. If we get a break over 124.61, I will be looking long here on Tesla. It is by far my favorite long setup in the mega cap tech space, right? This is, again, going to be a trade I'm not going to try to take early, right? I'm not going to try to anticipate. I'm going to wait for confirmation and a retest of 124.61. I apologize. My allergies are acting up this morning. So let's talk about why, right? And I think that this is important to understand, guys, is that we've had 4, 8, 10 days, and really 11 days inside of this daily range, right? When we've been dancing with a key level that long, right, we know that it's going to be a larger scale move. Therefore, I am not feeling like I need to be anticipatory here. Anticipatory. I do not feel like I need to be anticipatory here. I really feel like I need to focus on just taking the trade, waiting for a retest because I know the move is going to be worth it, right? I think we've got room to 137 above. that 125 level. That's $12 of upside range without too much resistance above. I think that, unless we get some kind of crazy gap up off the open and don't see a retest, which I don't envision happening, that's going to be my trade setup tomorrow. And if you watch the Technical Tuesday, right, the mistake I made yesterday on my first coin entry was, seeing that initial gap up off the open and not waiting for that pullback to the key daily level, right? I could envision something similar happening here on Tesla. I could easily see us gapping up off the open through 125 and then having to pull back towards that 124.61 key level, right? So thought process here, if we gap up off the open, wait for a retest of 124.61, and then I would look to take that trade long. I would be looking at the 125 calls for this week with smaller size, right? Day before CPI, always going to be smaller size for me, guys. Always, right? That's just a rule of thumb. All right, so that's going to be focus setup number 1, right, is Tesla. Focus setup number 2 for me, a little bit out there, but if you haven't noticed, BBBY is up 30%. Guys, these market rallies, bear market rallies, whatever you want to call them, are usually characterized at the end by a run on Bed Bath, GME, AMC, right? All these names kind of tend to move at the end. What do you know? BBBY is up 30% in pre-market. They're having their BK run. Here we are, right? Okay, I'm not going to play BBBY. I don't really have a ton of interest in that. One that I do have some interest in is GME. This stock is more than due for a bounce. Let's look at the daily chart here, right? Okay, clearly set up. Now, the question is, are we going to get that move into, 20, right? I think that's the big thing is, are we going to see that bounce into the prior support? Let's look at the weekly, guys, right? So we broke this major weekly support. So even if GME is going to head lower, right, it's probably going to need to retest this area, right? And that would be a retest of basically the 2165. If you going down to these wicks, right, like into the 20 range. So more than likely, we're going to get a retest of that area, even if GME is going to $3, right? In the long term, you're going to need you got your breakdown, right? That's what this was. It broke down to 15 under 20, right? Now you need to retest that key support. So that's like, okay, like, that's definitely confirmed old support, new resistance now. Old support equals new resistance, right? Bearish, but even that can be played on a bounce, right? And so that's definitely something I would look at, especially if something like BBBY is strong. Definitely something I'm going to look at, guys, because I think that could be a really clean mover. So, like I said, I think that's a nice spot to be. Wow, SI is moving. Okay, so GME, again, trigger for me. Let's talk about it, where and why, right? Okay, so 1845 pre-market high. This one's pretty simple, guys. Again, this is going to be a small size trade for me if I take it. I know D-Book really likes this one as well. I think he put it in his channel, but GME looks really good for me over that 1846 level. I think we get 1967. For me, I would probably take the $18 calls, maybe the $19 calls, depending on where we are. But I would definitely be looking at this over the 1846 level. I think this has a nice chance to gap up further. And again, push into that level. This is something I'm going to wait for the memes to start really pushing. But it's definitely something I'm going to look at, guys. Like I said, every single one of these major market rallies has been characterized by an ending with GME, et cetera, running. So very interesting to note. God, you guys can hear how stuffed up I am. I apologize. I know my voice probably sounds super like the SpongeBob episode where he's got the suds. Sorry. If you guys have seen that episode, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so GME is number 2. Number 3 is going to be Roblox. Other possibility here. Oh, and Roblox is gone. Okay, on cue there. Roblox is ripping, guys. Wow, what a move here. Interesting sign here. I think that, this was my favorite daily chart setup here on RBLX. I think the cryptos may need to cool off a little bit. I was saying that, a daily retest of 3167 would have been ideal here. It looks like we're going to be gapping up. I'm not going to chase a gap up here on RBLX, but if we see any meaningful retest of that 32 level, it would definitely have my interest, right? Pre-market highs now 32.6 and now 33.10. So, this is not a setup that I want to chase. Just period, point blank and simple, guys. I do not want to chase this setup. So, like I said, if we saw a retest of 32.29 down to 31.7, those would be zones that would interest me long side. So, and then number 3, I want to talk about coin because I know a lot of people are probably still in. Let's talk about coin. So guys, huge move yesterday on coin, right? I think a lot of people, I saw, a decent amount of people in the Discord still had. They had a downgrade at Bank of America this morning, right? $35 price target. Downgrades from a tier 1 firm like that, maybe say Bank of America is tier 2, not always going to be the best thing. What I want to watch and see is, does that 41 dip get bought? 41 is a huge level, guys. 41 is an absolutely massive level, especially in the weekly, right? Because that's that prior all-time low, right? So if 41 holds, I think that this can still, make a really nice move, and any type of move down like this is just, it's a retest, right? You have to come down and retest. We had an absolutely insane close, guys. I think we moved up 3% in the close alone. So guys, if long coin, Mans has the suds. If long coin, I really like that. As long as we hold that 41.16 down to 40.50, I think it's still a really nice mover, and has potential to see a further upside move, right? But again, I think the cryptos may need a little bit of time to cool off. At least that's how it seems to me. I think we may be a little bit more meme centric. Maybe Tesla gets its move today. We'll see. I think growth should continue to be strong, but I just kind of wanted to emphasize that it's the day before CPI. We know how this goes. It's oftentimes sectors outside of Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, et cetera, that provide the best range, the best moves. And so we'll see, right? It's really going to be about, again, it's still going to be about patience and waiting for that A+ setup to come into play. So just to quickly review, primary focus off open for me is going to be Tesla. If we get a move over 125, I will be patient, wait for it to retest 124.61, and then I will look to get long on a retest of 124.61 for hopefully a move to 137. That is the move that interests me the most out of any guys. Number 2 is on my list is going to be that GME sympathy move. If we continue to see the meme names hold strength, I think that this can be a really nice trader to the upside. Again, for a retest of that prior support at 1967. I'm not going to force things here. Again, these are more speculative type of trades. And let me emphasize this. We have 1 minute until the open. I'm going to hop on the Discord live trading stream. But this is a day where I'm going to be sized much, much smaller, guys. This is half of my normal size today. It's the day before CPI. I do not want to force things. There's no reason to let this day be the one that hurts you, right? There's going to be so many A+ great setups after CPI. I'd rather just wait to size in on a day like tomorrow or the next day. So, all right, guys, that's going to be my plan. I'm going to hop on the Discord live trading stream, Tesla, GME, watching Roblox as well. I will see you guys on the live stream in about 10 seconds. Peace.